Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike Lynch and Repo Rod. You guys have a lot that you could say about this situation, right? If George was here in front of you, what would you say to him?
If George was here in front of me right now, I'd say, George, your information sucks. You're
Yeah.
just trying to make money and sell a book and sell your TV shows. And you're lying to the people that are buying your book and watching your shows. Buy Pee Wee's book because it's the truth. Don't buy George's because me, being a former brother of George's, I ripped his up and I threw it in my burn barrel because that's how much I care about George's word now.
As far as that goes, I mean, what transpired with me, I lost a lot. You know, I had a house on the Central Coast. I was doing okay. I'm president of the charter. I'm still in the West Coast officers. And, you know, I mean, all this, it was going the way it was supposed to be going. I had no controversy with any individual charter. I mean, like I said, we didn't have to do nothing. If a guy came to me, hey, let me talk to you. Man, I f***ed up. I didn't bring the assessment money. Okay. I said, okay, when you get home, if you're telling me Monday or Tuesday, then, hey, brother, if you do that, then we are smooth. I don't have to go into anybody and tell on anybody. It's not a tattletale is not my job. My job is to make sure we stay financially straight and nobody's pilfering, you know, and it just, you know, fighting people over money and these statements that are being made by an individual that's on a forum like this. Okay. Now, you know, when I first started this, I mean, you're seeing how many people, you know, respond, reply, subscribe or whatever. With him doing that, these people are out there believing all this shit that didn't transpire.
Right.
And then when you put out information that is not true, somebody is going to get it. Somebody's going to get the blame. There's going to be a scapegoat. There is going to be somebody that takes the blame for that indiscretion. Okay. And I personally don't want anybody out there thinking that Hell's Angels are like that.
Right.
But I will put it out there that there is an individual that for a fact cooperated with law enforcement during an ongoing investigation of a president and a West Coast officer. And that man, because he couldn't defend himself without telling on other brothers, I took it myself. I never went to the club for a dime. I never did nothing. What they arranged for me, I paid for that arrangement. I gave that lawyer everything I could to keep. I paid him $10,000 just not to make sure 100% that the club didn't get brought up in anything that I did it myself. You know, and then when the judge asked me, I said, well, you know, to be honest with you, Your Honor, you know, if I may, I said, I'm a greedy motherfucker. And if them guys ain't putting in work with me, you think I'm going to share in the profits? And he just looked at me and he says, what? I says, well, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you how it is. I'm being honest. No, I didn't bring nobody in. No, I did it by myself. And that's the way it is. And regardless of what you think or what you're being told by like I said, I didn't know some of this information until recently. You know, I found out that some of the recordings that were done in my case, an ex-Ventura member took them and put them on show. You know, Rob was dying.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't talked to Rob in 10 years. He was in my charter in Fresno and then he moved on. But I still took care of him every day because he was down And so I'm one of those guys, if I had a little bit, okay. So anyway,
How did he get the tapes?
he was the president of Ventura, and I don't know how. Somebody gave it to him, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, what he did was he called me up and I said, "Oh, hey, what's up? What's up?" And he goes, "Mike, I got to come clean with you." And I said, "Okay, what's up?" He goes, "Look, dude, I'm responsible, semi-responsible for you leaving the club." And I didn't say nothing. So I said, "Well, explain that to me." He goes, "Okay, when all this shit happened and you went to jail, blah, 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 somebody wanted to get the confiscated bikes back. And I guess there was a bitch about doing it or what have you." So anyway, when he gets out there, he makes statements. And these statements, these two guys are taken to the bank. Okay. Now, I find out during all these tapes, well, I read them all. I listen to them all. Well, 90% of that isn't even about me. It's about what George was doing. You know, there's a bank manager that thought he was pulling some shady shit. And it was a bike that George owned, sold it to a guy, kicked him out of the club and was trying to get it back. But the bank owned it. Okay. The guy borrowed 10 grand, gave it up. Well, somebody went in there and he was trying to get the bike back and said he never got paid.
Yeah.
So he's going to the bike and saying, "I want my shit back because I never got paid." Well, during the course of all this paperwork and these guys going and checking out all these stories, they end up at the bank and the guy tells him, he goes, "Hey, look, I talked to this dude a couple times," and he goes, "Look, after that," I said, "I didn't believe a single word." So he got on the phone and called the powers in law enforcement. He goes, "I'm not going to deal with this guy no more." So then they went after him for trying to do a false bank deal and this and that. So there's a whole bunch of shit.
But they're not supposed to do that either, right?
Look, okay, look. This is what I was to understand when I first came around. This thing, this uniform or this indicia, whatever you want to call it, it belongs to me or it belongs to the club, but I'm representing wearing it. Okay. And I am not to use this to better myself. Now, if I use this to better us as a whole, okay, cool. Because we all shared in whatever hustle or whatever that business deal that I made. If we all get it, you know what I mean? If I can donate to my charter, here's 10 grand because I did this or that, well, then that's great. But whatever we do while we're wearing this and we are members in good standing of this club, we're not supposed to be going out and using this for the or else treatment. We don't approach nobody and tell them, "Hey, mother, you know that if you don't, then 10 guys are going to show up down here and this motherfucker's going in flames." Well, most citizens that don't have any experience with dealing with outlaws or people that may or may not have crossed the line, and that's how they conduct themselves. Well, I don't want to be one of them. You know, if I come at you, I'm coming at you and telling you right off the get-go, this is why, and this is what I can return to you if you help me. If you help our charter do this, here's what I'll do. Here's some shirts, here's meals, here's what I can do to show our appreciation for you helping us behind the scenes. Not go over there as soon as the guy turns his back, put a gun to that motherfucker and say, "Hey, give me this and give me that." Because that's what was going on. And
Don't
that's
tell
not
nobody.
what we're about. That's not. If it happens, if you get in a personal deal and you got to handle it the way you handle it, fine. Fine. But when it comes to our business as a club, we don't go over there and act like some 10-cent hoodlum.
And
You
then you
know?
said that there was members that were selling substances with their guts on, right?
You know, and a lot of people said, well, they know who I am. I said, okay, but who you're dealing with is not my main concern. It is a concern. What I'm concerned about is who's back here 3 blocks away with a telephoto lens with your patch riding into a mother hot zone, and you motherfuckers are acting like it's all chilly willy. Well, meanwhile, like I said, whoever's riding that bike in there with no intention, and sometimes it was brothers from out of state, right? So you're taking a brother where there's a business that's under investigation for supplying whatever to underage girls.